Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. Before we get any further, I do want to give a big thank you to Azurebeauty for sponsoring today's video, along with sending over this all-in-one dip powder nail kit for me to try. I am going to be using this kit in today's video. We're going to be doing some dip powder nails, and this kit is from Amazon. I will have it linked on my Amazon storefront, which I will be including the link to that down below in the description box. I am really excited for this because recently, well, not recently, but I started to love dip powder nails. When I first tried dip powder nails, I wasn't a big fan and it wasn't my favorite thing to do. But then as I got better and I used the different products, I really enjoyed doing dip powder, and I feel like dip powder is one of those very DIY, beginner friendly, like nails at home type of thing versus like acrylic. I feel like dip powder is much more beginner friendly. So we do have this all-in-one dip powder nail kit. I love all-in-one nail kits, especially when you can conveniently and easily shop them through Amazon. But like I was saying, with dip powder, it is convenient and time saving, especially because with dip powder, you necessarily do not need a UV LED nail lamp as if you were doing gel extensions or a gel manicure. With dip powder, if you're not using a gel top coat or a gel base coat, there's no need for a UV LED nail lamp because the dip liquids are all air dry products. And with this specific kit, all of the products in here are air dry products, and we do not need a UV LED nail lamp, so that really does save time, and it also just makes things a little bit more convenient. I mean, it doesn't bother me too much going into the nail lamp just because I am a gel girly and I love doing gel nails. But when I do dip powder, I always do find it convenient because I don't need to use my UV LED nail lamp. Also, like I was saying, with dip powder, I feel like it is something that is beginner friendly. You don't need any professional skill. And I feel like the first couple of times you may struggle a little bit, but just keep trying and you are going to get better at using the product, just like with anything. But like I was saying, when I first started using dip powder, I didn't really love it because I felt like it was super messy and I just wasn't doing well at it. But then like watching videos and learning, I feel like I have gotten a lot better with it, and I feel like it is now definitely one of those like easy beginner friendly nail products. The Azurebeauty all-in-one dip powder nail set is also very affordable, and like I mentioned, you can purchase it on Amazon. This set does include a total of 20 dip powders, which is also very nice. You get a very wide variety of colors to choose from. And then it is a long-lasting product. The product stays vibrant and chip-free with the proper application for 28 plus days. Also, it is a very healthy product because we do have those low odor for the dip liquids. I know sometimes when using dip powder, I mean, no matter what, you should always be wearing a mask and having ventilation when you're using dip powder, just because it is a powder product and it's flying and floating through the air. But when you are working with a healthy product and a low odor product, it really does help a lot, especially because some dip powders that I've tried, or dip powder liquids, I've gotten really bad dip flu with runny nose, running eyes, and it just burning feel. So I do not use those products. I want to make sure that they are low odor and they are healthy for me to use. And I always do wear a mask and have some sort of ventilation just to really help with all of the powder that is floating through the air. But just make sure you are using for sure a low odor product. That way you can help with experiencing the dip flu. So we are now ready. I want to jump in here and I want to quickly unbox this kit. Here is just a closer look at the box, and I just want to go ahead and pull up my other camera here. That way we can unbox this, take a look at everything that is included in this Azurebeauty all-in-one dip powder nail kit. And then of course I will be using the goodies from this nail kit to do my dip powder nails. So now let's go ahead and quickly unbox this kit. So like I did mention, it does include a total of 20 dip powders, which is super nice. It gives us a lot of color variety. I also want to mention that this specific all-in-one dip powder nail kit from Amazon, it also has different color variations. So if the specific color variation that I'm showing in today's video isn't your cup of tea, if you don't really like those colors on your nails, you can check out the different color variations that they have, and I'm sure you will be able to find the specific color variation that you love and that you love, like the colors you love using on your nails. So on the back of the box, it does show the ingredients, the items included, directions, storage, contact us, and warning. So I did go ahead and pull everything out of the box and just look at all of these colors. Oh my goodness. There are so many colors included, 20, and a very good variety in this like color variation or like collection. So I'm just gonna set this aside for now. We'll come back to this, but there are a few other items that were included. So the first thing that we have here is, it's just like a little paper that says about color difference, the color of powder, true color effect, and then it just kind of shows with 1 layer, 2 layers, and 3 layers. So you will be able to get a different color depending on how many layers you're using, which obviously makes sense just because you're building up that color. So if you want to use a lighter color, you would use 1 coat. I feel like 2 coats would be like that standard color, and then 3 coats could help darken and deepen up that color. In here we also have the after sales service card and also the user manual, and this just goes step by step into the application steps and also the removal steps. We have a little hand file in here. This is a mini size, and I'm sure it's a 100/180 grit. We also do have a buffer block. And then in this little baggie here, we do have 2 brush replacements. This is really nice, especially for our dip liquids, because sometimes the brushes can harden. But I think there is also a brush saver in this kit, which is also very nice because you can try using the brush saver before actually tossing and replacing the brush, but we do get 2 brush replacements. Now coming to the items that are included in the actual the dip powder supplies. So the first thing that we have here is a cuticle pusher and a scraper tool. I have so many of these. Most of the times when you get a kit, it will include some sort of cuticle tool, because if you want your nails to last, you need to make sure you're pushing back and removing your cuticle. We also get a little miniature dust brush. There is dust involved with dipping, so it's super nice to have a dust brush, especially to help remove the nail dust and like all of your dip powder dust, to help so you don't contaminate your dip liquids. This kit also includes a little tray, which is super nice. This is like a little dip powder recycling system. It has the 2 different trays in here that are removable, and then also the top part here, this can also act as a tray. You could probably do like French tips in here or just pouring over your product. So this is really nice to have, especially when you kind of want to experiment a little bit more and try out those different like dip powder nail designs, or just like doing dip powder like designs with the dip powder, such as French tips, for example. And also if you're just a person who likes or prefers to pour their dip powder versus dipping. The next items that I will be showing are the dip liquids, and there are a total of 4, and they are also labeled with numbers. The first one here is the base coat. These are also all 10 ml bottles, and I really love how they are numbered. That really helps, especially if you're a beginner. so you know which one to use first. So this is the base coat. This is what you will apply to your nails to then dip into the powder. We have step number 2, the activator. This is going to activate and actually harden the dip powder layers. We have step number 3, which is the top coat, and of course this we apply after we're all finished to get that top coat layer applied to the nails. And the last dip liquid, which is number 4, which is the brush saver. I talked about this. If your brushes do harden up, this will help to save the brushes. And then it is also very nice that we do actually have 2 brush replacements too. And that is everything besides the 20 dip colors. These are all 10-gram jars, and there are a total of 20 colors in here. They are just a little jar, but we do get a good variety of colors. Something else with these being such a small jar, if you like to do longer nails, this dip powder tray or recycling system is super helpful because you can do longer nails and pour over the powder, even though these little containers are small. But we have a good variety of colors. I'm not going to swatch all of these because that would take forever, and you are able to clearly see the color through the jar in here. But I just want to run through the colors real quick. We have a hot pink. This looks to be like a nude shade, a blue, another pink. This one looks to be a lighter pink or possibly a purple, a yellow, a very bright red, another, this one is a purple, a light blue, looks to be a lighter purple, another red, almost like with an orange tint to it, a orange, a light pink, another mauve type pink, another pink here. This one looks to be almost like a white pearlescent. This one seems to be a clear or a white with some iridescent glitter. Another blue, a blue glitter, a teal or aqua color, and then another purple powder. This collection is so beautiful and it really gives us a wide variety of colors. I am going to be doing some Valentine's Day nails today using the items included in this kit. I will also be doing a gel extension application. I'm just quickly going to run through that just because my natural nails are quite short and I just want to add a little length to my natural nails. So I am going to apply some full cover nail tips and we'll be dipping over full cover nail tips. You can of course also dip over half cover nail tips or your natural nails, but I prefer using full cover nail tips just because I feel like it is the more so beginner friendly method. Just it is very similar to dipping on your natural nails versus needing to build up a nail when you are using half cover nail tips. So I'm going to move everything aside and then I will come back and we will get those full cover nail tips applied and then we will get into the dipping application. So off camera, I did go in and prep my natural nails. I just prepped them by applying my peel off base coat, but if you do want a good prep routine step by step, I will include a video up in the cards where I do show my step by step prep routine. But we are now ready to apply my full cover nail tips. I do quickly just want to mention again, there are so many methods of applying dip powder. You can apply dip powder directly to your natural nails, but I just do not want to. As you can see, I do not have much length on my natural nails and I want to be able to have a little bit of length for these nails. So I am not going to go ahead and do it on my natural nails, but you can of course always just jump right in, prep your natural nails, and then begin the dip powder application right onto your natural nails. You can also use full cover nail tips. That is what I am going to be doing today. So I'm going to be doing the gel extension method. I have my full cover square, short square nail tip sized out. I'm going to be applying these using gel, and then I will be doing my dip powder application over top the full cover nail tips. You can of course also also apply half cover nail tips. I know some people also like to do that to add the extension to their natural nails. I personally prefer using full cover nail tips just because it is a lot easier and it does save more time, because you do not need to worry too much about building up the strength, the apex, and the structure of the overall nail. You already have that full cover nail tip, which has that strength, the apex, and just the structure. So you will just be more focusing on applying the dip powder and getting the actual color application through the dip powder. So I'm now ready to get these nail tips applied. I'm not going to go like fully in depth here just because I do want to more focus this video on the dip powder application. So I'm going to apply these nail tips. I have my flash cure light and my glue gel. I'll be doing my flash curing in between applying each of the nail tips individually, and then after I do have them all applied, I will do my full cure in my large nail lamp to be sure everything is fully cured. Because I am using a gel product, I will need to use my UV LED nail lamp. But again, keep in mind, if you are not using gel, the dip powder application process does not require a UV LED nail lamp, because those 3 or those 4 dip liquids, none of them require a UV LED nail lamp. So that is just something to keep in mind. Especially, I feel like a lot of people who use dip powder, they generally apply the dip powder just directly to their natural nails, and that is like completely fine, and you will not need to use a UV LED nail lamp unless, again, you are using some sort of gel product. Here are the nails after I have my nail tips all applied. Now let's go ahead and get these ready for the dip powder application. So I am just going to be filing the nail shape and then also buffing the surface to remove the shine from the nail tips. Now that I have my nails filed and buffed, we are ready for our dip powder application. I also made sure to remove all of the nail dust. Nail dust and the dip powder dust, it can ruin your dip liquids. That's a very crucial tip. So just something to keep in mind. Make sure you have a dust brush on standby, because you are going to want to brush away any nail dust, any remaining dip powder before actually going back in with your dip liquids. Something else that I also recommend you having when doing a dip powder application is a wooden stick. And I like using this because I feel it gives me a clean cuticle area every single time. right after I'm finished with my dip, I'll go in and use my wooden stick around the cuticle just to clean up any like spillage or product that got on my skin. And that's just really going to give us a very clean and flawless cuticle line. So I do definitely recommend also having a wooden stick because this can be super helpful, especially if you are struggling with getting like that seamless and flawless cuticle line. A wooden stick is going to be your best friend. So I also picked out the 3 dip powder colors that I am going to be using today. Like I said, I want to do a Valentine's Day nail set. So I picked out a lighter pink shade, the darker or like brighter pink, and then also this one, which I'm not sure if it's a clear or a white, but it does have glitter in it. So I think I want to use it. And here are just the color stickers. This one is $4.25. 25 and 428. So we are going to be using these colors for the dip powder application today. And I am going to start off with 425, which this one is that lighter pink shade. And I am going to be applying this to 3 of the nails. One of the 3 nails I'm actually going to be using this glitter dip powder on, but I don't know if, again, I don't know if this is clear or white, so I want to have just a pink base. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this light pink shade on 3 of the nails, being the index, middle, and the pinky nail. So let's go ahead and get this opened up. And these are all sealed. And here is a closer look at that color. It is a very pretty color. I'm also going to take my wooden stick to go in and actually stir this dip powder. That is also something else that can be super helpful to getting a very clean application, is stirring your dip powders. We are going to take the step number 1 base coat, and I'm going to be applying this to the nails and then dipping into the powder. I'm also going to be wearing a mask throughout this process, so hopefully this doesn't affect like my voice and talking. It may be a little mumbly, but I will remove my mask as soon as I'm finished. I just want to make sure that I am protecting myself and my breathing from obviously the dip liquids and the powder. So now that I have my mask on, I am ready to begin the application. So taking the step number 1, which is the base coat, I am going to go in with a nice even coat of this to my first nail. It is super important to get a nice even coat. You don't want to go in with something that's super thick because that's going to bulk up and like chunk up the nail, and you don't want that with your dip powder. Another thing, I'm applying this to the entire nail because again, I'm using full cover nail tips, so I do not need to worry about doing the apex method. Now, of course, you can still do that method, especially if you want a more like sculpted or a bigger apex on your nails. But my full cover nail tips are completely fine. So I just went in, applied that base coat to the entire nail, and then I dipped into the powder at a 45-degree angle. Right after my dip, I did go in and use my wooden stick to clean around the cuticle area. And again, this is just gonna be super helpful at the end. That way we have a much cleaner cuticle area, and we're just gonna get a much nicer result. So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this process to the other 2 nails, just taking the dip base and applying it to the entire full cover nail tip, and then dipping directly into the dip powder at a 45-degree angle. After I have finished the dip, I will go ahead and take that wooden stick again and be sure to go around the cuticle area. And this again, it's just really going to help a lot with getting that super clean cuticle. So here are how the nails are looking after I have that first coat of dip powder applied. I'm now going to go in with my dust brush and just brush away any of that remaining dip powder. Like I mentioned, this is super important. You want to make sure that you get rid of all the dip powder dust before going back in with any dip liquids, because the powder can actually contaminate and then make your brush harden up. So you just want to be sure you're going in and removing any of that remaining powder. Now I am going to go in with my second coat, repeating that same exact process, taking my dip liquid, applying it to the entire nail, and then dipping directly into the dip powder at a 45-degree angle. Right after dipping, I will use my wooden stick to help clean up the cuticle line. Something else, if you get any bumps or ridges in your dip powder application, you can always take your glove and pat that down very gently. And that's going to help, especially in the end when it actually comes to filing. If you take your hand and try to press down those bumps and ridges, that way you have a much more smoother surface. And here are the nails after I have that second coat of dip powder applied. It is honestly so hard for me to talk with the mask. I really hope it isn't affecting the quality of me talking so much, but talking with it like moves it around so much. So I do apologize for that. But now that I have that second coat applied, I'm going to take my dust brush again and just be sure to go in and remove all of that remaining powder before going in with my third coat of dip powder. Now for my third layer of dip powder, I am just going to go in with this just to help with filing. I feel like 3 coats is always great, and you can even go in with a layer of clear dip powder at this point, but I'm just going to go ahead and use the colored powder. And for this third layer, I'm only going to be doing it on the index and the pinky because, like I mentioned, the middle finger, I'm actually going to be using that glittered dip powder. So for my third coat, I'll use the glitter powder. But first, I'm going to go ahead and go in with my third coat using this pink color, doing it on those 2 nails. And I'm just going to repeat that same exact process that I have been doing for the first and the second layer of dip powder. Now that I have the third coat of dip powder on my index and my pinky, I'm going to take my dust brush to remove any of that remaining powder. And now we are ready to move on to the third coat on the middle finger, which I'm going to be using a different color. So I'm just going to be sure to close up the first dip powder I used, and the next color I'm going to be using is 428. I'm honestly really hoping that this is a clear dip powder and not a white, but I feel like even if it is white, I think it will still look okay over the pink dip powder. But I'm gonna go ahead and give this a good stir, and you can see the glitters in there. Very, very pretty. And I will actually be dipping the nail this way into the container, hoping that I will be able to get a better glitter pickup. So now, just repeating the same process, I'm gonna take my dip base and apply a nice even coat of this to the entire middle nail. And then I am going to be dipping into the dip powder. And again, I'm going to be dipping directly into the powder like this on top of the powder. That way I can hope for a better glitter pickup. Oh my goodness, look at that. It is a clear powder and so much glitter I picked up too. I'm now going to take my finger and I'm going to help press down any glitter pieces. That is so pretty. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with that nail. That is absolutely gorgeous. I'm also going to take my wooden stick and just help to clean up around the cuticle area. I am so happy with that. That powder is beautiful. And it doesn't even look that beautiful in the container. It doesn't look like there's that much glitter in here, but then you dip and look at that. So, so pretty. I'm now going to move on to the last two nails, my ring finger and my thumbnail. And for those two nails, I'm going to be using the brighter, darker pink. This one is shade 25. And I will also be going in with 3 coats, repeating that same exact process by applying the dip base, dipping into the powder, cleaning up the cuticle area with my wooden stick, and then in between each coat, being sure I brush away any of the remaining powder. So here are how the nails are looking. I do have 3 dip powder layers on each of these nails, and they are absolutely gorgeous. My favorite nail is definitely that glitter nail. That one just turned out so perfect. I was a little bit worried just because I wasn't completely sure if it was going to be a white or a clear dip powder, but it did end up being a clear, and that nail is just beautiful. So sparkly, so glittery, and it looks beautiful over this pink color background. But now it is time to apply our activator. So one more time, I'm going to go in with my dust brush and just be sure that I have all of the remaining dip powder removed from the nails. Again, like I said, this is just very crucial. You want to be sure that you're doing this just to help remove all of the powders. That way the powder doesn't go into your dip liquid bottles. And then we will be taking step number 2, the activator. This is going to harden up our dip powder layers. So you want to be sure you apply a very generous coat of this to all of the nails. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to let these dry and harden up for about 3 to 5 minutes. So here are how the nails are looking. They are looking so beautiful. And again, I just let these dry for about like 3 to 5 minutes just to be sure that that activator had time to soak through and get to all of the layers and then also harden the nails. So now I'm going to be doing a little bit of filing and buffing. I'm going to use the file and the buffer that was included in the kit. I will not be buffing the glitter nail just because I did not seal that nail in with like a clear dip powder, but I am going to be sealing that nail in with gel. If you are not using gel, I would recommend sealing the glitter dip powder in with a clear dip powder, but if you're using a gel top coat, I feel like that is going to be enough to seal in the glitter just because it is gel and I am curing. But if you're just going to be using the dip powder products, if you're using glitter, I would recommend sealing in with a clear dip powder just to be sure that your glitter stays intact and stays on the nail. So I'm just going to go in and quickly do my filing and buffing. There really isn't much to do, especially because I kept a very clean application. When you are going in with thin, even layers, it's going to be a very clean application. You aren't going to over bulk the nails. And then also the little wooden stick hack that's really going to help with giving and leaving a clean cuticle area. So here are the nails after my filing and buffing. They look so good and I'm so happy with how these turned out. So now for my encapsulating on the glitter nail, like I already mentioned, I'm going to be using just a builder gel to encapsulate. But you, of course, if you are not using gel products, if you don't have any, or if you don't want to use a UV LED nail lamp, you can, of course, encapsulate using clear dip powder. But I'm now just going to go in with a layer of builder gel just to that glitter nail, just to help encapsulate those glitters, and then I will go ahead and cure. Here is that nail after it has been cured and everything, all the glitter is now encapsulated. I am going to be leaving this set super simple and the design just being the dip powder application. No nail art, no stickers. I just really love how simple these look, and sometimes it is really nice to do just a simple looking nail set. And I feel like with dip powder, a lot of the times if you add glitter and two different colors of dip powder, you have a very beautiful nail set. Even though it's simple, it still looks like there is some sort of design because it's more than just one color on all of the nails. So I am finally now going to go in with step number 3, which is the top coat, and this is the dip liquid, so it is just an air dry product, and I'm going to be applying a coat of this to all of the nails and then letting it air dry. Here are the nails after I have the top coat applied, and that is all dry. I'm now going to go in with my cuticle oil. I'm going to apply this to my cuticles, rub that in to nourish them, and of course, like I always say, top off the nail set. And here is the finishing look of how these nails turned out. This kit from Azurebeauty was very easy and simple to use, definitely beginner friendly. I definitely recommend this all-in-one dip powder nail kit, especially because you get a really good variety of colors and also great quality products. Also, I wanted to mention, because I mentioned this in the beginning of the video, I did not have any issues with my eyes watering or my nose running. The products were definitely low odor, like they claim to be. They were good quality products, and I didn't have any issues with the dip flu. I wore my mask and I was completely fine. So definitely recommend these products, especially if you struggle with like the dip flu and you want to find something. These products may work for you since they are low odor. Another alternative with dip powder, you can always use the gel method. Instead of using the dip liquids, you can use gel to apply the dip powder, and that can also be super helpful if you do get the dip flu. But this kit is great. Like I said, for beginners, it is an all-in-one kit. You get all of the products you need, all 4 steps of the dip liquid, and then also 20 dip powder colors, and there are also different color variations available. So this is really, really nice, and just look at this super cute pink Valentine's Day nail set that I created using the items from the set. Keeping it very, very simple, I chose to use 3 of the dip powder colors, and this glitter over the pink, oh my goodness, that is absolutely gorgeous. I will have this kit linked on my Amazon storefront under Azurebeauty favorites, and that will be down below in the description box in case you guys do want to pick this kit up for yourself, or even a few of the kits, since like I mentioned, there are color variations. I really hope you all did enjoy today's video, but as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.